This is for you, Bobby, since you didn't make it to my cookie making class this morning. I'm going to show you how to roll out the dough. You want to make it into like a circle shape. And I use a little powdered sugar and flour to roll it in. And you just want to roll it from center out. Try to get it thin, but not too thin, but even thickness if possible. So I'm going to keep switching the dough around so I can work it. I'm pulling it out into a circle. And I'm going to flip it again because I can only roll so much and then it just stops rolling. The dough is very pliable and it does go back. If you have to roll it and then it'll stay. But until you get it to the right place, it does kind of like spring back. So I'm rolling it out. I'm going to flip it one more time because I'm not quite at a circle. And I just pull the ends out. And I have a lid that I'm using to measure to make a nice circle. Now, once I start seeing my board underneath, I know that the dough is thin enough. And I'm going to cut off all these uneven edges and make it into a nice circle to make a nice shaped cookie. So I'm just about there. I'm going to use my lid and cut the dough like a big cookie cutter. And this makes all the cookies the same size, basically. So I'm going to peel out the excess dough. That way I can get more cookies. And I'm going to stick this back in the fridge and rework it later. I just made this dough, so it's really fresh. So it's really pliable. I didn't refrigerate it overnight, which is fine. Normally, you make the dough and let it sit overnight, so it chills really good. I'm going to cut it into a pie using this nice little cutter. It gives you nice edges. So I'm going to cut 8 slices of pie. And then I'm going to take maybe a half a teaspoon of filling. And I'm going to spread thick to thin. So I'm going to leave it a little bit thicker, but you don't want to get to the ends. A little bit thicker at the top and then drag it down towards the middle, but not all the way. Because you don't want the filling to really leak out. So it's a little bit thick and then you pull it down. And then in a minute, I'll show you how to roll them. You don't really need a lot of filling because it's more than you think it is. So I'm just gonna fill these cookies and then I'm gonna roll them up. And I'm using a poppy seed filling because I had requests for poppy seed. Not everybody likes poppy seed, but it is a favorite of some. So I'm gonna just complete filling these cookies. I just bought the canned poppy seed this time. Usually some of the stores will have the fillings. You can put apricot, you can put walnut, which I will make a walnut with sugar and egg whites and the walnuts, of course, a little bit of apricot. Okay, so now they're all filled and I'm gonna like kind of pull them towards me so that pull them apart from the circle so I can roll them. So what you want to do is fold it over, pinch the edges a little bit, and once you get it going, then all you have to do is kind of like roll it to the end. And I usually like to just cut off the little pointy ends, just makes a nicer looking cookie. And then you always want to tuck your end under and place it on the cookie sheet. And then after I'm all done, and before I put them into the oven, I will brush them with the egg white that I used in the dough. I used just yolks in the dough, so I use the egg whites to finish off the cookie. It just gives them a nice shiny look. So you always want to make sure your ends are tucked under on the cookie sheet or else your cookies will open up. So all you do is like fold it over, pinch it, get it going, and then just kind of roll it with your hands. Cut off the ends, and which I don't need because they get filling in them, so that's not good. And that's all you do. And they usually take about 20 minutes in a 350 to 375 oven. And then until they get a nice golden brown on the bottom and a little bit, a touch of brown on the top. And then if you want to, you can, before you serve them, you can just sprinkle them with a little bit powdered sugar. This is the first time I'm using powdered sugar in with my flour to roll. I'm not gonna put powdered sugar on them at the end. Usually I just use flour, but this time I decided to use a little bit of powdered sugar. See how that comes out. I put a little bit too much filling in this one. You really don't want it to go into the ends, because when you roll it, it's all gonna squish out and it's probably gonna bake out in the oven. So this one's probably gonna bake out, but so once you get it going, you just kind of keep even pressure on it and then just roll it up to the end. Tuck your end under and you're good. So a batch of dough usually gives you about 64, but because I use the round lid and get excess dough, I get more than 64 cookies. So I just did ends of 4 pieces of dough, and I got another 8 cookies. So I already have excess of the amount. So I'm done for this, and then I'm gonna take my next disc out and roll the next one up. So hope this was helpful.